Today, we're looking at the HiBREW H21 Espresso machine, their newest release. This is a compact, all-metal, semi-automatic machine with 3 thermoblocks and dual 3-way solenoid valves inside. It can pull shots and steam milk at the same time. The design and features look like a prosumer-level machine, but the price point is more accessible. Thanks to HiBREW for sending me this machine for testing. But as always, they had no input on the review process. I've been using this HiBREW H21 for a while now, and I'll take you through a detailed walkthrough of this machine, including a peek inside its internal design and how it handles espresso extraction and milk steaming. Right off the bat, this machine has a really clean, no-nonsense look. The entire body is stainless steel, except for the base, drip tray, and water tank. The steel feels substantial too, not thin or flimsy. When you pick it up, there's definitely some weight to it. Even with 3 thermoblocks packed inside, the footprint stays pretty compact. It's only 22 centimeters wide and 34 centimeters tall, including the steam lever. The depth is where it stretches out a bit at 42 centimeters, but they were smart about this. There's an extra support at the bottom, so even if your counter space is tight and the drip tray hangs over a little, it's totally fine. The machine's center of gravity sits toward the back anyway, so pressing down on the drip tray still feels stable. Nice touch for people with smaller kitchens. When I put it next to my Lelite Bianca and Meraki, you can really see how compact this thing is. Dual boiler machines with rotary pumps just take up way more space. Compared to the H10 Plus, the height and width are similar, but this one runs a bit deeper. The front layout keeps things simple. Hot water tap on the left, standalone 58mm brew head in the center, and steam wand on the right. It's the similar layout you see on many prosumer machines. The brew head is all metal too, though it doesn't have any heating elements built in. Above it, you've got physical buttons and a small screen for adjusting your brewing parameters. On the far right is this all-metal steam lever that I really like. It's just on or off, no flow control, but the steam wand itself is nice and long. The angle adjustment range is excellent too. Even with this 600 milliliters milk pitcher, I can easily position it where I need it. The power switch is nice. There's a pressure gauge on the front right corner with clear bar readings. The drip tray has a metal grate on top with a plastic tray underneath. It slides in and out smoothly, holds a decent amount, and cups sit on it without wobbling. No weird noises when the machine's running either. Behind that is the 1.8-liter water tank. You can't see the water level through it, but when you're running low, the brew head flashes red, though that only happens when it's almost completely empty, so you'll still want to check it regularly. The drip tray has 2 drain outlets at the bottom. This machine has 2 3-way solenoid valves. One outlet handles pressure release from brewing, the other from steaming. Around back, there's another water inlet. They include the compatible tubing, so if you don't want to keep refilling the water tank, you can run a line to a bigger water source, like a 5-gallon jug. Just can't connect it to pressurized plumbing. One thing to watch out for. When you open that port, make sure the water tank is below minimum level, or water will start flowing out. The cup tray up top is pretty generous and can hold quite a few cups. Just keep in mind that once you add the metal grate, it won't heat up. If you want to warm your cups, remove it and the surface underneath gets pretty hot. Overall, the layout makes sense, edges are clean, the materials and design feel solid. For accessories, you get a 450 milliliter stainless steel milk pitcher. You have a nice tamper that's the same design as the H10 Plus and H13. The machine comes with a single-hole steam tip, but they include a 3-hole tip you can swap in. The 58mm spouted portafilter is really nice, has good weight to it, and that wooden handle looks great. Previous HiBREW machines I've tested use 3-tab portafilters, so when I saw this 2-tab design, I thought it might work with my other E61 portafilters. Unfortunately, these tabs are slightly thicker, so there's no compatibility there. Hopefully HiBREW will release compatible bottomless portafilters soon, since I really enjoy bottomless shots. Let's test the startup time. When I flip the power switch, the LED lights around the brew head start flashing to show it's heating up. The brewing thermoblock takes about 47 seconds to get ready. If you've turned off steam heating, you can actually start pulling shots right now. But if you keep steam on, it continues heating, so total warm-up time is about 1 minute 15 seconds. That's pretty quick for morning coffee. No long waits to get going. The interface stays simple too. Menu system isn't deep at all. Usually takes just 2 or 3 button presses to find what you're looking for. You can adjust brewing temperature since the machine has PID control. Temperature range goes from 88 to 96 degrees. Once you've got it dialed in, just hit the button to confirm. There's an auto extraction timer that's handy if you're not switching beans often and have your grind setting dialed in. You can also set pre-infusion time, though this part gets a bit confusing. You can adjust both the water flow time and the soak time, but they can only add up to 5 seconds total. So if you set the first option to 4 seconds, the second option becomes unavailable. Took me a while to figure that logic out. Also worth noting that pre-infusion only works in auto mode, not when you're pressing the manual brewing button. Manual extraction gives you pure start and stop control over water flow. But here's a workaround if you want pre-infusion with manual control. Just set the auto timer to the maximum 40 seconds. Most shots won't get longer than that. Then stop it manually when you've got the espresso volume you want. The hot water volume setting is really useful. Like when I'm making Americanos and only need 150 milliliters, I just press once and it stops automatically at my preset volume. The hot water spout has decent flow rate too, and you can adjust the angle so you don't have to move your cup around to add water. If you don't steam milk, you can turn off steam heating separately. This cuts down on energy use and gets you to brewing temperature faster. I was curious about how those 3 Thermoblocks actually work together, so I opened up the machine to take a look. This machine is actually pretty easy to take apart. Remove the 4 screws on the back, then you can take out the water tank cover, loosen 4 screws on top, then you can lift off the top and rear panels to see everything inside. If you ever need to do maintenance down the road, it's definitely accessible. The blue pump you see here is dedicated just to steam. The bigger one is an Italian Ulca pump that handles brewing. It's connected to an overpressure valve that keeps extraction pressure in a reasonable range. But this OPV doesn't appear to be adjustable. When pressure exceeds the set limit, excess water gets routed back to the water tank through a tube. Up top are 2 connected Thermoblocks that work together for steam. I'm not sure why they use 2, but the efficiency and steam quality are both excellent. The heating block at the bottom is dedicated purely to brewing. There are also 2 separate 3-way solenoid valves, one for steam pressure release and one for brewing. These connect to those drain outlets we saw under the drip tray earlier. Looking at everything inside, the design seems really thoughtful. All the connections look solid and well built. Should hold up well over time. You can see those 2 steam Thermoblocks sit pretty close to the top cover, which is why that surface gets warm enough to heat cups when you remove the grate. This setup means steam and brewing run completely independent circuits. When you're pulling a shot and steaming milk at the same time, neither affects the other's pressure or performance. The 3-way solenoid valve automatically releases pressure when extraction finishes, so your puck stays drier and the portafilter comes off easily, makes the whole workflow smoother. The machine also supports backflushing. You can use a blind basket to run cleaning cycles through the brew head's internal lines. Makes regular maintenance much more manageable. When I tested with a blind basket, the pressure gauge showed 11 to 12 bars. I'm guessing that's where they set the OPV. Anywhere from 9 to 12 bars is a reasonable OPV range for machines using a vibration pump. Let's pull some shots and see how this machine performs. Since the brew head doesn't have built-in heating, I recommend running hot water through your portafilter and basket a few times before brewing. Gets that metal nice and warm. I'm dosing 18 grams for a double shot, which is the ideal dosage for this basket. I use my Timor Sculptor 078S. I've reviewed this grinder before and after using it for a while. It's putting out really consistent results. I'm using auto extraction with the 4-second pre-infusion turned on. This first test shot is clearly ground too fine. You can see the pressure gauge sitting around 12 bars. Let me set a coarser grind setting and try again. You can see the pre-infusion status on the screen. Then it starts timing the shot. That means the shot timer you set for auto brewing mode is the actual brew time after pre-infusion. The noise level is acceptable, and you can see the machine isn't vibrating much either. The flow rate is much better this time, and extraction pressure stays steady around 11 bars. "36 grams out in 25 seconds, not counting pre-infusion. That's right in the target range. This espresso is already quite drinkable. No harsh bitterness, really smooth going down. Most of the time, the cup gives you balanced sweetness. If your beans have natural acidity, it comes through clean. When the grind is dialed in right, you get that nice syrupy body. Once you've got it calibrated, it reproduces shots pretty consistently. Now let's see how the steam wand handles. Pulling shots and steaming milk at the same time works perfectly fine. Makes sense since they're completely independent systems that don't interfere with each other. I'm using the single hole tip, and start to finish takes about 40 seconds. The 3-hole tip would probably be faster. The microfoam comes out really fine and glossy. Perfect for practicing latte art at home. I mostly drink black coffee. Pouring latte art definitely takes a lot of practice. But when the microfoam density is right, getting some kind of pattern seems pretty manageable, even though the details need work in many areas. The milk foam's texture and density are spot on. The microfoam is really silky and just the right thickness. Most importantly, it tastes great. That milk sweetness combined with rich coffee flavor creates this super smooth mouthfeel. I made several cups in a row, and even as someone who's still learning latte art, steaming milk was consistent every time. The microfoam quality and flavor stayed reliable. That's my walkthrough of the HiBREW H21. There are similar machines on the market, and HiBREW has rebranded this model with some tweaks. But I haven't used those others, so I can't really compare the specific differences. As for this machine, I'm really satisfied with how it performs. Extractions are consistent, and steaming silky microfoam has become straightforward. The independent brewing and steam circuits make the whole workflow smooth and efficient. If you have any questions about this machine, feel free to leave them in the comments and let's discuss. Thanks for watching.